dating advice.
Yo,
CT's
yo,
dating
yo.
advice. We should get that on there.
Yo, yo.
Or Chicana Fuerte.
Hey, I don't hear myself.
Oh, hold on.
The mic not turned on?
No, I think it is.
Yo, yo. I don't hear it. 50 seconds, technical difficulties. Let's see what's up. Okay, there you go. Chat line's already opening up.
Let's see what the peeps are saying. Steven Adams. Yep, Steven Adams was traded yesterday. Was ho-hum.
Dude, it is Friday.
Yeah, it is Friday. Friday.
Woo!
It's time to do some day drinking.
I referee basketball tonight, man. I got a varsity game tonight.
Day drinking time, bros. David Atwater. Hey, Friday, guys. It is. It's Friday, baby. You know how much work is going to get done on a Friday? Absolutely nothing. Just look busy.
What's going on, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? My name is Mike Jimenez. Joe Garcia producing today's show, and this is the Alamo City Sportscast. Again, coming at you from the Alamo City, San Antonio, home of the Riverwalk, home of the San Antonio Spurs, home of the UTSA Roadrunners. You know what? It is Friday. We have come to the end of the week. Just realized that it's Friday. Looking forward to this weekend. But, Joe, how are you doing today, my man?
Doing good, man. We have a lot to talk about in today's show. Today, one of our good friends, a guy I used to go to high school with, Angel Gutierrez on Twitter. He's known as Angel Por Vida. He had put something up here. It was interesting. They're talking about Rod Strickland and the infamous pass in the overtime game against the Portland Trailblazers way back in the day. That still is a soft spot for us Spurs fans. And they had Rod Strickland on their podcast talking about the infamous play. So we'll talk about that. I also went ahead and talked to Ryan over at All Access MMA. So we're going to talk a little bit about MMA and preview the fight that's coming up over at UFC 58 this weekend. We did record a full segment and went on for 16 minutes. We're only going to play 6 minutes, and we're going to have the other portion up on the YouTube channel for everybody to listen to, because we did talk about the upcoming pay-per-view with PFL versus Bellator, which is historic, and it's going to be coming up later on this month in February. It's going to be in Saudi Arabia at 3 p.m. I think is when it kicks off, which is kind of early for me because I'm used to drinking and watching fights, but nonetheless, we'll talk about that. And then you have some interesting topics for today's show.
Yeah, we do have interesting topics today. You know, you mentioned the Rocket Rod one. That still haunts Spurs fans to this day. And it's funny because I go back and I revisit that play over and over again. It was it was the Western Conference semifinals against Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
And was it all on him? It was a bad pass, okay?
Yes, it was.
But Sean Elliott, my man, quit hiding at the three-point line, man. Go towards the bucket. So we'll talk about that for a while. We'll have to call that play up, man. Show that play. See what happened, okay?
Yeah. I think they do have the highlight or something like that. We'll go ahead and get into it.
You know, the NBA All-Star reserves were announced yesterday, and no surprise, Victor Wembanyama's name was not called up there. But
we were surprised as Spurs fans. We wanted him to be called up.
No.
Man.
There's no Spurs fan in their right mind who thought that Wemby was going to be named an All-Star.
I wanted him to be named, but I knew in my heart that he was not.
I can count. I can count the number of Spurs wins on my hands, dude. You know, that's how bad this team has been this year. He wasn't going to be named a reserve right now, but can he be named a replacement because he's on the short list right now? And
you think Kawhi is going to play?
That's right. Kawhi is probably not going to play. Anthony Davis probably won't play. LeBron might not play. So there's a lot of that going on. And a lot of people are giving crap to like Steph Curry, saying that Steph Curry does not deserve to be in it. I'm sorry, but the guy averages 27 points per game. What games are you watching? This guy is the star of the NBA alongside LeBron James. Of course, Steph Curry was going to be named it. So we'll talk about that for a while. Wemby did get honored by the NBA yesterday, by the way, rookie of the month for the month of January. Dude, Chet Holmgren's performance has just gone off a cliff. Wemby is now in the driver's seat to win Rookie of the Year.
If he wants it, it's there.
That's right. That's right. You know, we'll be talking about also pop culture nostalgic things because we like to do that here.
God,
there's a certain South American Instagram model with more than 4 million followers who's got a gigantic booty. Okay, gigantic would make BB Rex's booty look skinny.
Hey, don't be no slander on BB, man.
But she's complaining about what it costs for her to travel because of that badonkadonk. Okay, so we'll have to talk about that.
Does she need a seat extender for the badonkadonk?
Dude, it looks unnatural. I like big booties, dude, but this is a little bit unnatural, right?
Oh man,
like Sir Mix-a-Lot said 36, 24, 36. Only is she 5'3". Okay, this is like 50, 31,
4'11". Wow.
We'll talk about that. By the way, before we get going into the show, props to Joe for expanding the network over here. I wish I could say that I had anything to do with this, but you take all the kudos when it comes to it. I was listening this morning to Brandon Medina's new podcast. Tell us about Brandon's new show.
Yeah, Brandon's doing a show that's
Generation Duo.
And it's kind of offbeat. You know, it's about comedy. It's about life. It's about whatever the hell two guys that are separated by 10 years that are friends want to talk about. And it's very interesting. You all got to check this out. I think the first episode, from what I was listening to it, Brandon and his friend Johnny are out here talking about aliens and dad rock. They're talking about what do you classify dad rock as? And they have Nickelback and all that kind of stuff on here. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen real quick if we can here. So give me a second. Or maybe you can bring it up on your end.
While you talk about that, by the way,
fact
of the matter is that I felt a little bit old listening to it.
You felt dated?
Yeah, I did because, in this whole dynamic here, you have Brandon who is in his 20s, right?
Yeah.
Texas Tech grad. Was on San Antonio Sports Star for a while. You have Brandon out there who's in his 20s, who is a homeowner, who has a wife and a kid and all that stuff. And his best friend is 10 years older, who happens to have no kids, never married, I think lives in an apartment, and just the dynamic between the two.
They're funny.
And they start talking about dad rock. But the whole thing about dad rock is that even I think it's old. And that's considered to be dad
What's your
rock.
favorite dad rock band? What did they say? Incubus.
Oh my God. When they were getting into that, when they were getting into Stained and all that stuff.
Oh God, dude.
Because when I think of dad rock, I think of yacht rock, man. I'm of the age of thinking that Michael McDonald and Christopher Cross, Beach Boys, and stuff like that is dad rock.
Throwing in some Michael Bublé. I'm done with you.
There you go. Did you want to play a part of this?
Yeah, let's go ahead and play some of it.
Yeah, this is a general
toss-up. And so what we've seen is you and I are into so many similar things, right? We nerd out on a bunch of different stuff. So you'll hear us talk a lot about nerd topics. We love pop culture, love movies, love sports. However, we view the world very differently because of our age gap, and we've seen that. And we've actually had fun seeing it. Instead of judging each other for the way we view things, it's nice to just bounce ideas off of. So that's why we're here on the podcast. So on this show, we're going to be bringing in storylines from our personal lives, from the outskirts of the world. So bringing in crazy storylines to talk about and laugh about. And then at the end of every show, we will be doing a Generation Duo draft. And it's going to be a 5-round draft on all types of...
The draft is funny. That's when they started getting into the dad rock. But yeah, listen to the whole episode. It's episode 1. It's up on the Alamo City Podcast Network on YouTube, which you can go ahead and see the Alamo City Sportscast up on YouTube. And that's the channel we keep telling everybody to subscribe to. We need you guys to subscribe because it helps the show grow. It helps us keep on going and staying on the air and doing bigger and better things.
And we're expanding also to another podcast as well.
Yeah, but I don't take credit for this. This is something that Brandon wanted to do. And he's like, hey, man, what do you think about it? I'm like, hey, it's a good idea. Do it, dude. And full creative freedom. Brandon went ahead and brought his baby to fruition. And it was great to hear it, man. They have good chemistry.
So, yeah, it was a fantastic show. Fantastic show. Again, go to the Alamo City Podcast Network and you'll find the show there. They did a very, very good job. You can also follow Brandon on Twitter as well. Was it Brandon Big Poppy M, I believe is what he's at.
Brandon Big Poppy M.
So that's fun. And then we're expanding another show as well. So this is going to be turning into a network. And we're also looking for more talent out there. You know, if you think you're talented enough to do a podcast here, whether it be about the Spurs or the Cowboys or anything going on, reach out to us. Let us know what you guys are thinking and see if you can be part of this. Now, when they were talking about dad rock, you know, I made my daughter just cringe a little bit yesterday because we all have our guilty pleasures when it comes to dad rock, right? Yeah. And I understand they're calling it dad rock. What they're actually referring to is known as divorce rock.
Divorce rock.
Oh okay. God. Those who are getting divorced right now, listen to Incubus and Linkin Park and listen to Daughtry and all of these early 2000 rock acts, right? Dad rock for me is a little bit older. Okay. I think dad rock for me is like 55 and older. My daughter glazed over because I don't know why. I have over 1,200 songs on my Spotify playlist that I just, add 2 or 3 or 4 songs per week. And I just put it on shuffle.
Yeah.
For some reason, when San Antonio's own Christopher Cross comes on and the song Sailing comes on, I just get into a good mood, man. I love that song.
I hate that freaking song. I've always hated that song. Even when I was a kid, it made me cringe. I was like, the nails on the chalkboard, bro.
Oh, man. And if the mood is right, we can sail away.
No. I hear that stupid song. You hear it, sailing. I'm like, no.
The canvas can't do miracles. Dude. Just you wait and see. God, believe in me. Come on, baby.
You're going to sing
Alamo
that at karaoke.
Heights' his own.
You're going to sing that at karaoke, man.
Chris Gonzalez knows what's up. He says, I'm just sailing away. That's right, baby. You can take part of the show if you go onto our YouTube stream. This is where you catch the show. Go onto our YouTube stream. Leave a comment or two. We're no longer on Facebook, no longer on Twitter/X anymore. But like and subscribe and share this with your friends. Share the links. Let us know that, let people know what we're doing out over here, man.
Yeah.
So,
we got Tim Gonzalez. He says, Joe, when is that guest going to appear that's going to follow college basketball and covers the mock draft? We're going to have him on possibly next week. I'm going to be reaching out to him this weekend. We have more than one. We have 2 of them.
Yeah, and I have a good buddy of mine who's also always, he lives and dies by March Madness.
That's
right?
Those are my friends too,
man. And I'm going to be going to Vegas, by the way. So we're taking the show on the road. I'll be doing this show, the Alamo City Sportscast, from Las Vegas, the first 2 days of March Madness from a casino out there.
How drunk are you going to be, though?
It's going to be 8 a.m. over there.
You're going to wake up drunk. You're going to be so drunk you wake up and you're still drunk.
I'm going to be drunkety drunk a little bit. I'm going to be there with a mimosa. Be there with a Bloody
Do the
Mary.
show in your freaking robe, bro. How cool would that be?
So I'm going to be staying over at, I believe, the Mirage.
All right,
is where I'm staying at. My friends have the points, so they're getting me a room someplace, and it's moved around. It's either the Mirage or Mandalay Bay. It's an MGM.
It's not a bad place, man. I mean, you could stay in worse.
Yeah,
so it's good that they're going to put you up in some place nice.
Yeah, it's a nice place. I don't care where I'm at in Vegas, to be honest with you. No one stays in the room anyway.
Just go there to sleep.
Go there to sleep and pass out, right? Because we're going to be out there. We're going to be eating. We're going to be drinking. We're going to be doing all that stuff, which means I got to lose a little bit more weight before then. Dude, this morning I did my weigh-in. The middle number changed. I lost officially pound number 15. That is right. I'm the lowest I've been in 2 years, and I'm about 10 pounds away from where I was when I was running half marathons.
You want to lose some weight, man. You go work out with Jeff, dude.
No, Jeff doesn't make you lose weight. Jeff makes you bulk up. Jeff is not about low reps. I mean, high reps, low weight. He's all about throwing the weight up there. He's about bulking up. I'm not going to lose weight doing that, and I'm already too stocky to begin with. And I love Jeff Garcia like crazy, but I want to go. I want to do, like yesterday, I went to the gym, and I did elliptical for 35 minutes. Then I did a walk, and then I lifted weights for a while. And when I say I lifted weights, I wasn't killing myself with the weight, but I was doing 15 reps at a time, sets of 3. Did about 8 machines or so. Nothing wild and exciting. I'm not trying to like get cut. I'm not trying to lose a ton of weight. I'm just trying to go from second trimester to first trimester.
Oh, God.
That is all I'm trying to do. But if I'm going to be going out there to Vegas, man, it's all drinking, dude. It's all calorie intake over there, man. So I need to prep for that. But again, we go for about an hour and 15 or so.
They're making fun of you.
What's up, Air Mike? Yeah, dude, I was catching strays when I wasn't even paying attention. Say that I am the one who's going to take responsibility, credit for Jeremy Sohan having what I consider to be the dunk of the year.
Oh, God.
Last game, the reverse alley-oop dunk that he did.
Tall tales.
People were coming at me saying, you know what? The dunk that Wemby had against the Bucks where he did the behind the back
was better,
and then he got fouled and the and one was better. I went and saw that dunk a few times overnight. I still think Sohan's was better.
You like Wemby's better?
No, I like Sohan's better.
Sohan.
I think Sohan's was more. It was more in the moment. I mean, I know the behind the back thing is in the moment, but I just think that it was so instinctive for him to do that, because who would have thought that pass in from Vassell would be so shallow that he would actually be forced to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Sohan his flowers. That to me was the dunk of the year.
It was a good dunk, man. I thought it was worthy of the Spurs, one of the Spurs dunks of the year.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more than sure a lot of other Spurs fans kind of agree, but there's a facet that still say that Wemby, you know, they're pro Wemby. So whatever Wemby does, they just want him to win everything, you know? So it is what it is. It's to each his own, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And I started laughing too, because they started saying Mike's Tall Tales, he's going to take credit for teaching Jeremy his vertical leap or whatever, his leaping abilities. And then I had put the gif out there where it has that guy jumping off the trampoline.
Yeah. Which is a classic one, by the way.
2-inch vertical, Mike.
I do have the video up there of
All right,
the Wemby dunk.
Let's check it
out. Is
out.
this the one that is the best dunk of the year? Because it was an and one.
That's a good dunk, dude.
It's a great dunk. Okay. You know, it's on the outlet. Actually, stolen ball behind the back. Behind Lillard.
Oh.
Boom. Fouled by, it appears to be Lopez. Gets all excited. Don't get me wrong. That is a top tier dunk right there. Because how many 7'3" guys can do that? Right?
Have those handles, man.
So let's look at Sohan's dunk one more time. So Sohan was a reverse dunk, right?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find it here.
There
it is right there. The slow-mo doesn't do it any justice, man. I mentioned that yesterday.
He caught the ball in air, mid-stride, kind of adjusted behind the back.
And taking a look back at the rim. He didn't do it blindly. He's looking at the rim. And he protected the ball because Suggs was going in there for the block. Dude, I know.
And he was fouled on it.
And Wemby right there is probably startled. He's probably like, my man. Dude, I'm sorry, man. I think the Sohan dunk was the best one of the year so far. Don't get me wrong. Here's the full speed one. God, this is great. This was great. This is not going to make me sign that form that people want me to apologize for to Sohan for. I will sign my first name only on that one. Okay, he's growing on me. He's growing on me because he's no longer playing point guard. He's growing on me because he's playing power forward and because he's doing a lot of things from inside the circle there within 5 feet.
Yeah,
that's what I'm liking. That's what I'm
seeing. Your new nickname now. What's up, Air Mike?
Air Mike. I'll take it. I'll take. Hey, I got the initials, baby. MJ. MJ.
Instead of Nike Air, it's Mikey Air.
Well, speaking of Victor Wembanyama was named Rookie of the Month for the month of January. So he lost it to Chet Holmgren in November and December. So this is the first time that Wemby has gotten this honor. But despite all that, fact of the matter is that Vegas casinos now have Wemby as an overwhelming favorite to win Rookie of the Year. That's because he averaged 24 points per game during the month of January. Also double-digit rebounds, getting those 3 or 4 blocks and assists per game. Wemby was the no-brainer to win Rookie of the Month. And now the question becomes, can he look forward to getting an all-star berth, if you will, because the reserves were named yesterday, but he would need to be named as a replacement. And there are probably about 4 or 5 players right now that have legitimate arguments for getting into the all-star team, right? Julius Randle made it in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, as far as the reserves.
Identical stats to Victor Wembanyama. Okay, same number of points, same number of rebounds. Now, Wemby, since January 1, has been playing like an all-star. That is no doubt.
Yeah, he didn't come out the gate doing that, but he really did show everybody what he's capable of.
Last 20 games.
Yeah, exactly.
The last 20 games. And the question becomes, is he going to be because someone's going to sit out the game, dude. It happens all the time. People have been all-stars 8, 9, 10, 11 times. They don't want to do it anymore. They say that they're injured or they tweaked this, that, or the other. I think Anthony Davis, I think Kawhi Leonard are probably going to be the most likely ones to step out. De'Aaron Fox is probably the first person on the board when it comes to, hey, this person should be an all-star. People were kind of confused as to why Karl Anthony Towns made it over De'Aaron Fox. That was the debate yesterday. But De'Aaron Fox will be the first person called if there's a replacement. Now, if there's a second one, who's that going to? Is it Alperen Şengün? Is it Victor Wembanyama? Is it Domantas Sabonis? That is the big question.
You know, Wembyama said something too. They had asked him, "Hey, man, what if you get called as a reserve? You know, that kind of scenario in case, you know, let's say somebody can't make it.
Yes.
You know." And he was like, "Well, I would be honored to, you know, be nominated or go to the All-Star game." But he was saying, but honestly, he said like something to the effect of, "I would rather Jeremy get called."
Yeah,
you know,
and that's cool because, you know. Well, let's talk about that in a second. Devin Booker made it on the Western side. Anthony Edwards, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, Paul George, Steph Curry, Karl Anthony Towns. On the Eastern Conference, though, that was the snub that we were talking about, how Jeremy Sohan was not part of the sophomore team, the freshman versus sophomore team. He got let out of that. But Paolo Banchero, who's in his second year, was named to the All-Star team. So he's probably not going to do the sophomore challenge, which opens up a spot. And maybe Jeremy gets to go in there. Eastern Conference All-Stars that are the reserves: Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey, Julius Randle, Bam Adebayo, Paolo Banchero, Jaylen Brown. And look at Jalen Brunson, man. Jalen Brunson is a great story, man. Jalen Brunson is somebody who's kind of people didn't believe in him for a while. Last night, goes out there. I loved it when they announced him, because when they announced him, they said Jalen Brunson just named All-Star for the very first time, and Madison Square Garden just erupted for that Knicks
they're happy
player.
for him. Yeah, man.
Guy's averaging like 27 points per game. Let's hear this interview with him real fast.
Yeah, you have it up.
This is courtesy of MSG.
All right, let me go ahead and bring it on here. And here we go. Tell me if you're playing it. Do we have audio? Is it off mute? I don't know why the audio doesn't work on here.
Okay, well, Jalen Brunson rather, was interviewed after his 40-point performance yesterday. We just look at the video. He is in tears. He is crying about being named to the All-Star team, and this is a very beautiful thing. Very beautiful thing. Over on our YouTube stream, Vane Stain saying the Mavs fumbled Jalen Brunson because he played with the Mavs, and the Mavs let him go because they went after Kyrie Irving instead. And that was a disaster. Brunson was on the come up, whereas Kyrie Irving was on the way down.
Look, Chris Gonzalez, he says, now I'm singing Sailing as he's watching the show. Oh, God.
It's a beautiful written show. But look at this. I mean, isn't this the greatest thing about it? Think about what we were talking about yesterday. We were talking about how there were certain players that were pissed off about having to play 65 games in order to be named to the all first team, all team, first all team, all NBA, first, second team, all NBA, being named defensive player of the year, MVP and whatnot. And look at this guy. Jalen Brunson looks like he'd want to play all 82 games, and it doesn't matter if he's hurt or not. There's a different breed, man. There's a different type of player out there. And when the Spurs are going out there looking for someone to bring in as free agents or to looking to draft, I want them to have this desire. Look at the eyes of this guy. This is the same type of eyes you would see out of a Tim Duncan, out of a Manu Ginobili, out of a Tony Parker.
It's called humility.
Yeah, he's very humble.
Yeah.
He's honored to be part of the All-Star team.
Unexpected, man. He wasn't expecting to get in at all,
Yeah. Jalen Brunson, man, what a great story. What a great story.
And I was going to show the other, I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. Let me see if there we go. These are the rosters for the East and the West Conference. They show the starting five, and as you were going down the list, you were naming the reserves, Jalen Brunson. You had Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, and Julius Randle also for the New York Knicks. For the Eastern Conference is the reserves. And then you go down the Western Conference, and you were mentioning, they had Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Karl Anthony Towns. All of these guys are deserving. Wemby, He's a rookie. I know Spurs fans are enamored with him and they want him to be in the, be in the NBA All-Star game. I do too. I'm a big Spurs fan as well. But at the end of the day, it doesn't surprise me. I'm a little disappointed that he didn't get it. But at the end of the day, I understand why. I understand the logic. Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, by the way, was drafted in the second round. He's 27 years old, making an All-Star appearance for the first time ever. That's amazing. But you take a look at that lineup that you're talking about there when it comes to the NBA All-Stars. Joel Embiid, big name, MVP candidate. Some would say in the driver's seat.
Was not going to be playing.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
You see what happened? Weekend, did you see what happened? They announced his injury. He has a torn meniscus.
Oh, that's the. I hadn't heard the. I hadn't heard the latest of it yet.
Yeah, they were saying. I believe I saw it somewhere on social media where they were saying that Embiid has a torn meniscus.
Let me look that up real quick.
Yeah,
that's interesting. That's interesting.
And he was actually also in the conversation for MVP this year. His name was being thrown around.
Let's see here. So according to ESPN, this dropped late last night. 76er star Joel Embiid suffered a torn lateral meniscus injury in his left knee against Golden State. Jonathan Kuminga fell on top of him.
Yeah.
Goes on to say that there's going to be a treatment plan in place for the injury, and the options will be discussed over the next several days. This will probably knock out his ability to win the MVP award. Now, there is a caveat to the MVP award, by the way. If you're knocked out for the year, you can qualify for it.
I forgot how many games you have to play, though, to qualify.
Yes. Drew Show was reaching out, and I'm glad that you sent that super chat for a couple of reasons. First of all, thank you for the tip, my man. Again, top of the top right of our screen, we have a QR code for if you want to buy us a coffee, give us a tip, if you will. It helps pay for our equipment and whatnot. But I was actually going to pivot to this, Drew, so you were right on time. It says apparently Steven Adams was available for an expiring and a couple of second rounders. He makes $12 million per year. Spurs did nothing. The usual suspects will continue to defend Pop in the front office till Wemby leaves. So that was interesting because, again, the trade deadline is a week from today, and trades are already happening. And that name that came up was Steven Adams. And the Spurs have been enamored with Steven Adams. I love that guy, dude. I mean, I know he's an older player and whatnot, but I love that guy. And the Houston Rockets made that trade with the Grizzlies. Steven Adams for Victor Oladipo, 3 second-round draft picks. So, I mean, like you said, it's an expiring deal going that way. Are we going to sit here and believe that Brian Wright's going to do nothing?
I totally believe Brian Wright will do absolutely nothing because he wants to stay the course. Because let's face it, if the Spurs make trades at the trade deadline, what does that indicate? That they are no longer tanking when they've been tanking hard since the beginning of the season.
Now, I don't think they're going to bring somebody in. They're going to make every attempt in the world to get draft capital. That's what they're going to do.
They get more draft capital again. We're just getting younger.
We've done it repeatedly over the past several years. We got draft capital for Derek White, for Thad Young, for Jakob Poeltl, for DeMar DeRozan. We've gotten draft capital for DeJounte Murray.
Maybe they'll get draft capital for Dougie McBuckets, Doug McDermott. They have Devontae Graham, who has hardly played any games this season, man.
And
he's just sitting there.
I don't know what kind of reputation these guys have. I think Doug McDermott for a very, very good team, like a Boston
playoff
or
team,
a playoff bound team that needs someone to come in and just shoot lights out and not play defense.
Give you some 3-pointers off the bench.
That's what he would be good for. You wouldn't be getting a top first-round draft pick for him. No. If you get a first-round pick, it's going to be number 25 or 30 in the draft. That's what you're going to get.
I'm fine with second-round picks. You can still find some decent talent there in the second round. You could actually start filling the needs of the team versus best available player, which is what mostly all teams do in the first round of the draft, especially if you're getting a pick 1 through 10. You're going for the best available player. Even if you have a guard, if you have another guard out there, best available player, you're going to pick him.
I agree. 100% agree. David Atwater says draft capital is used for trades. The thing is that we've been accumulating draft capital. We haven't been sending it out for anybody. I can't think of the last time the Spurs did that. I got to go back in time. I'm going to research that over the weekend. When was the last time the Spurs traded draft capital to get a player.
Jeez, I think the last time I don't even remember, it was draft capital. It might have been, but it was what's that guy's name that used to play for the Nets, then he was playing for the Bucks. It was one of the worst trades in Spurs history.
Richard Jefferson.
Richard Jefferson. I think that is the last time that the Spurs actually did something. And that didn't turn out to work out for the Spurs. That's when Richard Jefferson had left the Nets and he found a resurgence in his career with the Bucks. And he was playing well. He was playing well.
The Spurs got LaMarcus.
They got LaMarcus, but they didn't really give up anything because LaMarcus was a free agent.
Yeah.
With the Richard Jefferson, that was during the regular season, and that was a trade that they made.
We got a $6 or a €6 tip. I love it.
Yeah.
From Garrett in the Netherlands. Says, I want to say that I enjoy listening to you guys. I've seen the rumors for a while about Trae Young wanting to join the Spurs. Any truth to it? I actually think that there is truth to it.
You want to play with Wemby? He wants to play with Wemby?
Yeah. There's got to be some star that wants to play with Victor Wembanyama. Why not Trae Young? So that's the thing. That is the hope that I think Spurs fans need to hold on to, is that there's going to be somebody who overlooks the fact that San Antonio is a small market, that's going to overlook the fact that San Antonio is a relatively boring city.
And they are in a different conference entirely.
Yes, they're going to look at San Antonio and go, I can be the Robin to Wemby's Batman.
Hey, and Trae can drop some dimes, dude. He can put up some points, and that's what they need.
Dude, a team of Trae, Sohan, and Wemby would be so entertaining, but it also we'd lead the league in turnovers because those three guys turn the ball over like crazy.
But then you have some balance there. If in fact they did do that trade, and you kept somebody that could actually play a little defense, and you kept Sohan, but you'd have to get rid of Keldon. You'd have to say bye to Keldon.
You have to send somebody.
Keldon, you'd probably say bye to Doug McBuckets, Dougie McBuckets, Doug McDermott.
You'd probably say bye to Vassell as well.
You probably would.
But you do it anyway.
You'd probably do it. I mean, if you want to win games now, you would do that.
The only untouchable name on this entire roster is Victor Wembanyama. Yeah. Everybody else can be had.
I agree.
Now, the Spurs do have the possibility of having 2 first-round draft picks this upcoming summer. Spurs have their own, which is right now the Spurs have the 3rd worst record in the NBA. So Spurs would be picking somewhere between 1 and 7 if it ends that way. Spurs also have Toronto's pick, which is top 6 protected rather. Right now, Toronto has the 6th worst record in the NBA, so there's like a 50-50 chance of us getting that. If that doesn't convey this year, it moves into next year. Spurs have their own. Spurs have Atlanta's. There's no restrictions on it. The Spurs have Chicago's top 10 protected. They have Toronto's top 6 protected if it doesn't convey this year. And they have Charlotte's top 14 protected. Anywhere between 2 minimum up to 5. 2 minimum, 3 likely, 4 possible, 5. Crazy.
That's a lot of picks.
That's a lot of picks.
Hey, we need to start getting into this talk too about revisiting an old wound with Rod Strickland, dude.
Yeah, let's get into that. But real fast, before we get into that, Vainstain says Trae Young is also a Spurs fan because he's from Texas. Drew Show says if you're going to get Trae Young, it's only going to be via free agency. They won't trade for him.
Oh, he said more pipe dreams.
More pipe dreams is what he's talking about there. I like that comment by Jesus. Before we talk trades, we need to get Wemby some help better down the line on defense. All that length, and he refuses to lift his arms to contest a shot. The thing is that the Spurs don't have anybody there that plays defense, and that's the problem that I have with Trae Jones rather. Trae Jones playing a lot better this year. He's improved his shot. He's improved his finishing ability. Guy can't play defense. Vassell was a defensive lockdown guy in college at Florida State. Yeah. Doesn't play defense anymore.
Remember the
Keldon Johnson doesn't play defense as much anymore because he is, undersized.
He's being called upon to put up points.
The best defender on the team arguably might be Jeremy Sohan.
It is, yeah.
But Sohan only can guard people of a certain size. If they're about 6'5" to about 6'9", he can lock them down. If they're taller than that, they go through him.
He's undersized.
He's undersized at that point.
Yeah, especially if he's down in the paint. Yeah, he's going to get punished.
And Wemby, Wemby is kind of like Deion Sanders, right? They just don't challenge him. You know, he gets blocks from playing weak side defense. They don't challenge him because he's so freaking tall. So, I mean, Wemby, I guess, arguably is our best defender. Sohan is the best one-on-one defender, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not saying a lot, you know, because Sohan, he's okay. He's a good defender, but he's not like one of those lockdown guys, like a Bruce Bowen-esque guy out on the wing back in the day that would just shut guys down.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know what else he needs to do to get better to make that happen. But let's talk about Rod Strickland real fast. I got to find that video, don't I?
Yeah, it's on my Twitter.
Oh,
so if you go check it out, I think I posted it on there, and I had put that we're going to be discussing the infamous Rod Strickland pass that ended the Spurs playoff run and possibly a trip to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, keep in mind the Spurs at that point had not won an NBA title before.
No.
So we were thirsty.
Pre-99.
We were thirsty for a championship, right?
Yeah.
And what ends up happening is that we're this game 7 against Portland, and the Spurs had run-ins with this team with Cliff Robinson and Clyde Drexler and Kevin Duckworth and all of those guys.
They couldn't get past the Blazers.
Yeah, that was that one mountain that we couldn't climb for whatever reason. And the fact of the matter is that it came down to this really last-minute play, and Rod Strickland does the most infamous thing. I'm looking for it. Did you put it on your page?
I think we have it here. This is full disclosure here. My good friend Angel Gutierrez.
What up, Angel?
Known as Angel Guti3 on the X. Me and him went to high school together, and he put this out this morning. He was like, "Need to tag some old dogs that remember this like it was yesterday," and he was talking about the Rod Strickland. So I'm going to go ahead and play this because this was an excerpt from All That Smoke podcast, which we hate, by the way, because it has Steven Jackson, who's an absolute ass.
I don't mind this show.
I don't care for it.
I don't mind
but let's play it.
They got him rubbing the shit. You see, he's like, God damn it.
That changed my whole posture, right?
There it is.
Take us back to that moment.
Wow, that moment was crazy. Because if I break it down, like we could have beat them, and then we would have been playing the Suns, I think it was, and we were kind of dominating the Suns that year. You know, KJ was a beast, but again, you had David Robinson back there. So that was a big time play, and it was getting caught up in the moment. Right, New York, like, you know, I was one of them out, and
All right, so what are you showing me?
I'm showing you the video of what he did.
Okay, let me go ahead and hide this, and we'll show that.
This is the video of
the actual video,
the devastating pass, the no-look pass. Okay, let's dissect this play real fast. Strickland's bringing the ball up the court. Robinson on the left-hand side swings it around to Willie Anderson. Willie Anderson refuses to take the shot. Robinson doesn't take the shot. Dude, that was just a very discombobulated play. The whole thing, dude.
Oh,
everybody skipped out on shooting the ball. No one wanted to shoot it. Rod didn't want to shoot it. Cummings didn't want to shoot it. Elliott did nothing. Willie passed on it. Robinson, nope. Now, here's the thing. Maybe, just maybe, Rod thought Sean's going to go towards the bucket.
That's exactly what he was talking about in that little excerpt here from that All the Smoke. When you start listening to that and you start, Rod starts recanting what he was thinking. He's like, it was a bad play at the end of the day. He's like, my back was to the basket. I anticipated that Sean Elliott was going to cut, because usually he's capable of cutting.
Look at that young Greg Popovich, assistant coach to Larry Brown right there. By the way, it was a bad pass for a variety of reasons. First of all, it was no look. Secondly, Jerome Kersey was standing right there.
Rod couldn't see anybody because he wasn't looking. He had his back to the basket,
And who did Rod play for before coming to the Spurs?
Oh, man, I don't remember who he played
Did he play for Portland, or did he go to Portland afterwards?
I think he went to Portland afterwards, but I don't remember who he
I know he played for the Knicks for a while.
He played for several teams after he played for the Spurs.
But that was an infamous play. The Spurs ended up getting knocked out, and as he mentioned, the Spurs dominated the Suns that whole season. That would have been our first time going to the NBA Finals potentially.
They could have gone, man, because what was sitting right in front of them was Portland, and Portland was giving them fits. But the Spurs could have won that game.
But dude, nobody wanted to shoot. Rod drives in, does nothing. Terry defers. Sean swings it around. Willie didn't take the shot. Dude, how many times did
you
see
had
Robinson?
Sean wide open? And if you look at that play, Sean was wide open on the wing.
How many times did you ever see Robinson not take that shot?
Oh, man, if Rod had just seen Sean and he would have hit him, he was wide open for that three, dude.
Robinson refused to take the shot. Willie refused to take it twice. Sean and Terry Cummings played hot potato. They had, you mentioned Richard Jefferson earlier.
Yeah.
Richard Jefferson has gone on record as saying that he knows that he was a good basketball player, but was never a great player. You know why he says he was never a great player? It's because he said that at the end of the game, if they were down 1 with 10 seconds to go, he was the last person who wanted to take the shot.
He didn't have that clutch gene in him.
He was like, dude, I am great. I'm a good player from the tip off all the way to the last 30 seconds. Do not give me the ball. Dude, he has said that.
Yeah.
That is what that play was. Robinson did not want that shot. Willie did not want that shot. Terry Cummings didn't want that shot. Sean Elliott didn't want that shot. So I understand the venom that people have towards Rod Strickland, but 4 players refused to shoot the ball before he did it.
I ain't gonna lie, man.
Willie twice.
Rod Strickland is one of my favorite Spurs point guards, man.
Yeah.
Rod Strickland was a good point guard when he played for the San Antonio Spurs.
And then Drew's asking the question, why didn't they call a timeout? I don't know if they had a timeout or not.
Pop was in there. Pop's like, let him play through it.
You have Larry Brown about to say timeout, and Pop flags him down, gets in his way,
holding his hands down. No, don't you do it.
Don't make that T. Don't make that T.
Let him play.
Tim Gonzalez reminds us that Rod played for the Blazers.
Oh, yeah.
Right before coming to the Spurs. That's what made sense. The crowd loved him after that.
Oh, look at Drew. He said the same thing. What are we doing here? Call a timeout. Drew up the play. No, that was Coach Pop.
Pop whispers into Larry Brown's ear. Let's see what we got.
That's like that meme with the Bugs Bunny that goes around.
Yeah.
No.
No. You know what? I want to have a side by side and be going, no.
It's like, call a timeout. They had like 30-something seconds, left in that game. I mean, come on, man. It wasn't like you were down like to 1 second. You were forced to shoot it. You still had some time on the shot clock. You could have called a timeout, inbounded the ball, and reset and get a better shot, a better quality of shot. It was a very disheartening and heartbreaking loss for Spurs fans because they had such high hopes for the team to keep moving on. I mean, this team was a good team. This team could have won the NBA Finals because if they had gotten past the Blazers, like we were talking about, they had the Suns' number and they could have moved on.
That was when we as Spurs fans were starting to believe that this team could actually make a run and go to the NBA Finals. This is when we were getting that string of 50-win seasons. People think the 50-win season started in 1998 with Tim Duncan. No, it started around 1989 with David Robinson. That's the thing. Goodness, man. Goodness. Take a look at an article right now on ESPN.com. It says the all snub team at center of the Western Conference. They have Rudy Gobert, Brandon Ingram, Lauri Markkanen, Jamal Murray, and Kristaps Porzingis. Oh, I guess it's for all sides. Alperen Sengun, Victor Wembanyama, Trae Young. Those are the 8 snubs according to ESPN.com. So if you figure 1 or 2 people drop out, maybe Wemby jumps in. Maybe, just
There's
maybe.
a slight chance he can because, again, who's going to actually drop out because they want to go ahead and keep their body from injury for the rest of the season? I mean, look, the All-Star game is nothing more than a bona fide exhibition game.
Right.
It's not serious.
2 great comments here. First, so we've got Matt Lerma saying this is why the Memorial Day Miracle was so special because, again, it was against the Portland Trailblazers. Garrett is asking the question, were we tanking for Wemby way back then? Wemby wasn't alive, but you know who was alive and was in middle school? Was Tim Duncan at that time. And Tim Duncan, we tanked for Duncan. And Spurs fans have revisionist history when it comes to it. And hate to admit that the Spurs did, in fact, tank for Tim Duncan, but we did. We did not tank for David Robinson. David Robinson, that team just sucked. We sucked for years leading up into that draft. So we did not tank for Big Dave, but we did for Timmy.
They did for Timmy because they got Dominique Wilkins to come back to the NBA and play for the team. And Dominique had a good season with the Spurs in the absence of one David Robinson who was out due to injury. Mm-hmm. But I mean, let's face it. The Spurs had the same roster that they had with David, but they just had Dominique. And yes, you're going to lose something as far as scoring and defense, but you still kind of have the same players out there. And what happened? They just laid an egg, and they were hard tanking for Timmy, dude.
I don't think people realize how good David Robinson was.
He was, dude, David, back in the day, he was a unicorn. He was one of these guys that the league had never seen a guy at David Robinson's size be as athletic and able to do what David Robinson could do. So on the court, especially in the paint, so dominant, a defensive presence, just blocking guys, and so athletic for his size. And his speed was unreal. Like, David Robinson is a very special player. If you go back and watch the tapes when he was in his prime, I mean, the guy was unreal.
You know how we talk about like the greatest quarterback of all time versus the best quarterback of all time? Tom Brady is the greatest. Patrick Mahomes is the best. The greatest player in Spurs history is Tim Duncan. And will forever be the greatest player of all time. The best player of all time is probably David Robinson.
David Robinson was just
David Robinson,
crazy.
David Robinson was so skilled. The way he ran the break, the way he played defense, the way he passed the ball. The best player, my personal opinion, that the Spurs have ever had in their prime was David Robinson. The problem is that we oftentimes remember David Robinson from the back end of his career when he had back injuries and wasn't the way that he was before.
Yeah.
But man, David Robinson from 1989 to 1995 was special. Was Victor Wembanyama special? Best player we've ever had on this franchise.
They have him listed at what, 7'1", 7 foot, 7'1",
7 foot, 7'1". The guy was just a very, very nice man still.
Very humble when he came into the league, and very open to being coached by the great Larry Brown.
Yeah. Tim Gonzalez reaches out and says, after watching old school Spurs, he looks back and says that 1993 was actually a very good team, a great team. The Spurs were special back then. And the youth that was there, from the Spurs drafting David Robinson, Spurs drafting Sean Elliott, getting a Rod Strickland in free agency.
Yeah.
There were other players out there in the early 90s. David Wingate was a really good defensive player.
Until he had his troubles.
Yeah. Late 80s, you had Johnny Dawkins. It was very, very fun to watch that. Drew Show reaches out with a super chat right now. Says 2 seasons later, Brown resigns, gets fired. At that time, free agent Pat Riley wanted to coach the Spurs. His price was equity in the team. He went to New York. Equity in the team is kind of probably the sticking point, man. And that's a smart thing that people are doing, by the way. Celebrities are doing, not only athletes, but also musicians and whatnot. They're like, oh, you want me to sponsor you? I don't want payment. I want equity in this. Movie stars are doing this with movies as well. Say, hey, don't pay me. For the next Avatar, I'd rather have 1/10 of 1%. But
the take.
I don't believe that Pat Riley ever would have come to San Antonio because we're not his type of city. Not at all. He's a LA, Miami kind of guy. LA, New York, Miami. Look at where he's been his entire career.
Look at what he's done, though. Wherever Pat Riley has gone, there's been success. Pat Riley is one of the best coaches, in my opinion, to ever have coached in the NBA.
I think we have another super chat from Mario Cavazos, but I think it kind of bounced off there for a while.
I don't see it.
I saw it. Well, if not, Mario, you can buy us a beer in real life. Hey, let's go ahead and switch gears here. Did you hear about that story about Baltimore Ravens tight end Mark Andrews?
No, what happened?
Mark Andrews, the Ravens are no longer in the playoffs. They got knocked out by the Chiefs. Mark Andrews, one of the best tight ends in the NFL, probably top 5 easily when healthy, but he missed a lot this year. He is being called a hero because yesterday he helped a woman who was having a medical emergency on a Southwest Airlines flight from Baltimore to Phoenix. Now, Andrews is type 1 diabetic, And as he's seeing this woman suffer, he's asking the question, do you think it has something to do with her blood sugar?
Oh, man.
Do you think it has something to do with her being diabetic? And apparently he had some sort of kit that monitors his stuff and that also gets him going when he has a diabetic issue. Pass that along to the flight crew.
Yeah. And
lo and behold, she comes to. She's better because of it. And they're saying that he's a hero because of this. And they're flying the skies, and it's so cool to see somebody step up and realize, hey, I suffer from this. I know what this person's going through. I'm type 1 diabetic also. But Mark Andrews of the Baltimore Ravens called the hero today. We doing pop culture today?
Yeah, we can do it. Do you want me to go ahead and get the music ready?
Go ahead and get that
Cue
ready.
it up.
And I'm going to look up some photos of this girl. All right, let's get into pop culture real fast, because you have an affinity, Joe, for BB Rexa.
Oh, yeah,
right?
man.
BB Rexa's your girl, right?
What's wrong with BB?
Why do you like BB Rexa so much?
No, man, she's
well, what's your favorite body part of BB Rexa?
All of it. All of it. She got something to grab onto, keep you warm, bro.
You and
BB can go chill, man. Like, she looks like she's just a chill kind of girl, like she'll go and watch sports with you. Whatever you all want to do, she'll go with you, just hang out with you. You want to go get something to eat, you don't got to worry about where you're going because she's on a diet, girl. Just eat. You want to go get some wings, take BB with you. You want to go to the movies, you want to get a beer, BB drink with you, man. That's your ride or die.
You like that ass, dude. Let's just call it what it is. You like that ass.
I don't know. BB just looks like she's a chill girl, man.
Well, there's a model who goes by the name of Gracie Bond. I don't know if you've ever heard of her, but I have a photo of her up right now.
Oh, and Mario Cavasso says he brought us a beer earlier. Hey, thank you very much, Mario.
I saw it
man.
flash, but I didn't see a comment behind it. So
maybe that's what it was, man. It was a notification.
Yeah. So Mario, thank you so much for that, man.
Mario.
Appreciate it. So let's take a look at this girl real fast. I have a photo of her up right now on my screen, if you can share that with us.
Yeah.
She is what you call a big girl.
That's a lot of ass right there.
That's a lot of ass. I mean, it's got to be unnatural, man.
Wow.
It's got to be unnatural. But it says that she's asking airlines to accommodate huge asses out there. She's circulating a petition because she's upset about the fact that she has to get a second ticket sometimes because this model, who, by the way, pretty face, but that ass is the ass of about 3 people combined.
Man, you know what?
That's a little bit much. Look at this. Look at her sit down. Look at those thighs. How can you be relatively normal and curvy up top, but have that down low? What is going on? Do you find this attractive at all?
No, bro.
4.5 million people subscribe to her on Instagram, follow her on Instagram. Okay, first of all, very beautiful face. It's a very pretty face, but this is a little bit much. So she's showing photos of herself having a difficult time putting on a seatbelt.
Jeez, dude.
On the airline.
This reminds me of that song from back in the day. You remember that intro they used to have with that old, was it rap song? It'd be like ass.
It's a little too much, man. It's a little too much. But yeah, there's an airline, by the way, in Asia that charges people based on their weight.
Oh my God, look at Jonathan. I got to show this, man. Jonathan C, thank you for the $2 super chat, man. $2 from Jonathan C. He goes, is there such a thing as too much ass?
There is.
That is too much.
That is
bro.
too much ass. I mean,
no, Jesus is like Joe like it. No, bro, that's too much for me, man.
Okay, because like BB Rexa, for example, BB Rexa is somebody who is, I mean, ass-tacular, dude. I like Lainey Wilson, by the way. Lainey Wilson has a good badonkadonk herself. That is a perfectly fine size, curvy booty, right? But that model we were talking about there, Bond or whatever her name was, that is huge, dude. That is scary. That is not even like, you can't even wear booty shorts with that. It's just scary.
Yeah. We got to troll in the chat, man. Y'all be nice to each other, man. That's the thing. Like, y'all got to stop with this nonsense of going at each other in the chat. I don't care who you are. We just want to keep things amicable. let's behave, man. We grown here.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We grown here.
Yeah,
man.
we're trying to not have a.
We're not here for drama, bro. I don't care what it is. If you're just don't be disrespectful, don't be racist, that kind of stuff. Like saying things that are going to be insinuating like racism or anything like that, which I'm not saying that they're doing, but things like this have happened in the past. There's no room for that.
Yeah,
let's
all play nice.
Let's play nice, bro.
Let's all play nice. Let's all play nice. So Matt Lerman asked the question, "What's your podcast about? Sports, pop culture, and ass."
I know this is Matt Lerman's topic right here, bro. Come on. Matt Lerman likes him a little ass.
Dude, I mean, who doesn't, man? I mean, if you want to see one right here, here's Sofia Vergara being shown on TMZ. That's a 50-year-old booty.
That's what my friends will say in the theater, dude. Embarrassing as shit when we're watching a movie and they know there's a hot, actress on screen and they're waiting for the money shot. And then they're, it's so quiet. And they just hear, there it is. I'm like, God, bro. Every fucking time, man. I can't take my guys anywhere. They start laughing. It's like they can't help themselves. All quiet. There it is. I'm like, geez, bro.
That's so funny, dude. No, I don't mind talking about BB Rexa. She's probably the highest, the largest amount of booty that's acceptable, man. After that, it becomes a little bit too much. But I found it to be interesting. I was also mentioning how in Asia there is a.
Jesus Rivera says, I identify as an airplane seat.
Well, in Asia, there's this airline that charges you based on your weight, and it includes your luggage. So what you do is when you go to the airport, they weigh you and they weigh your luggage, and they charge you accordingly based on the overall weight of you with what you're bringing on.
I would laugh so loud if someone said that in the theater, bro. I can't take my friends anywhere when I'm saying that they say, there it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, geez, man.
All right. Drew has a super chat with us right now, but basically says that he understands that troll accounts are being made out there to go after him. Says, sorry that he hurt your feelings, I guess. So we'll just kind of leave it at that. But no, I understand that there are fans of this show that listen to our show on the daily. And we appreciate you guys. But the thing is that we don't want you to get at each other and piss off people so that they don't watch our show. Oh, you won your argument. Well, great. You fucked us over.
Yeah. It's like, dude, let's just talk sports. We're not here to bash each other, man. And that goes for all my friends, especially my close friends like Christopher Leja, Spernandez, Chicana Fuerte, Matt Lerma, all these other people that I kind of talk with in private chats beyond just the show. These are my friends. So if you're going to be coming at them, especially, you're going to be talking nonsense, I'm going to block your ass so you can't even enjoy the show anymore. How about that?
Yeah, and all we do on this show, by the way, we talk sports and we talk various issues that come up that pop up in our lives.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be a break.
Sorry,
it's supposed to be a break from what we're doing.
A break from the real world.
From the real world is basically it. I'm excited over this weekend, dude. This weekend I'm going to be going to the Mardi Gras parade at SeaWorld.
Oh, really?
SeaWorld San Antonio doing a Mardi Gras parade. I'm going to take my son Justin out there. It's going to be a fun time out there. It's Sesame Street themed. So I got to get my son some Mardi Gras apparel and things like that. Joe Gonzalez reaches out and says, show more nalgas, please.
Look at that. SZA ass.
Look up SZA's ass. You know what? I can't because
God.
Joe does his work on this computer.
No, this is the laptop. I have my other desktop over there. You can do this one is made. I bought this one just for the studio. So we can do remotes and just, use it here at the table. So you could do whatever you want to with that one. That one's all good.
Oh, I bought a new computer yesterday, man.
You finally did?
Yeah, dude.
You got to say goodbye to the old one.
You were telling me about the motherboard, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is that I ended up getting a different Surface Pro.
Okay.
But there's a Surface Pro that's like the tablet.
Yeah.
And then there's a Surface Pro laptop.
That's like a pro version or something. Yeah.
Right. But it's a laptop though. So I ended up going to go get one, and
I was not cheap.
well, the Surface Pro, the one that detaches as a tablet.
Yeah.
Those are expensive. The counterpart, which is the actual just regular laptop, I thought about it. I've only used it as a tablet like twice in 3 years.
Yeah.
So may as well just get a laptop.
Yeah.
So I got a laptop, not that bad of a price. It was on sale, yada, yada. And then they're asking me, do you want to pay an extra $179 for them to transfer the data from your old computer to the new computer and all that
Yeah.
stuff, and I paid for it. Then they said, we'll have to hold on to your computer for a week. I'm like, I'm not going to give you my computer for a week.
Don't look at my search history.
Well, no, it's because I work on my computer.
Oh,
So I end up going back home, and I install the Windows Pro 11, and then I noticed that everything that I had on my old Surface Pro suddenly appeared on my new laptop.
hey,
So I didn't need
it
them.
migrates over.
It migrated over. I
Yeah.
don't need those guys. Do I go get a refund? Is that how that works?
You know it's Friday when we talking about ass. That's the cochino coming out. The sucio segment of the week.
Very Mario Cavazos.
Oh, there you
$4.99.
go.
There's the super chat talk right
Super
there.
chat.
In your opinion, who is the Spurs' best free agent acquisition during the season? Jerome Kersey, Glenn Robinson, or Kevin Willis? Man, we're going back in time,
Wow.
dude. Wow. I liked Glenn Robinson when he was here.
I liked him too, man. But I mean, Jerome Kersey, I would say Kevin Willis was probably,
Dude, if we had him like 3 years earlier, Kevin Willis, when he was with the Hawks, was really good, man.
dude.
Kevin Willis was that could have been that twin tower along with David Robinson.
Kevin
back in
Willis
the
had
day.
some dog in him, dude.
He did.
He would have been the enforcer, man.
That's an even better question. Who's the better Spurs enforcer? Is it Mario Elie? Was it Dennis Rodman? Was it Bruce Bowen? Was it Robert Horry? Who is the best enforcer in Spurs history?
Go out there and lay some waste to people. I'd say it was Robert Horry. Robert Horry wasn't afraid to mix it up. Look what he did to Steve Nash.
Just
He hip checked that motherfucker.
into the scoreboard, baby.
He said, "You're over here. You're roasting us. You're basically putting us out. You know. So I'm going to go ahead and take your ass out of the game, take you out of the equation." And what happened with Steve Nash and Manu, man? That when they clashed noses or heads, dude.
Yeah,
That was
Matt
brutal.
Letterman says whoever broke Steve Nash's nose is the best. Dale Castro says Rodman by far.
Jeez, Rodman had some dog in him too, man.
And that's what the Spurs need, man. The Spurs are eventually going to need to have that dog that's going to be down there. And I don't think that's Sohan. Nothing against him on that. I don't think it's him to do that type of work. But the Spurs have a lot of needs to fill, man. And
we haven't talked about who was the biggest dick. Spurs player who was the biggest dick off the court.
off the court.
Off the court. I got one for you guys.
Give it to me.
Aaron Baines.
Really?
Biggest dick off the court, dude. And there's a private story that
The guy that
share.
said, "Thanks, man."
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, fuck that guy, dude.
Aaron Baines.
Let's just say that one time he was over in the G League, right?
Yeah.
They had put him in the G League and he wasn't happy about it. Afterwards, he out of the damn parking lot, right? And this was from a reliable source that told me this. It was wet that day, right? It was raining. Went out of control as he's just peeling out, pissed off, so angry. And he went and hit several cars on the way out. Just
Really?
takes off, dude. The Spurs had to intervene and go ahead and, I guess, come in and kind of subside things and pay for the damages that were caused by Aaron Baines. But the guy was just a dick. And somebody was telling him on the way out, "Hey, Aaron, great game." He looks at him and says, "Fuck you." It's like, you know what? Fuck this guy, dude.
Hey, this is like the 12th guy on the team, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man.
Would it be safe to say Danny Ferry?
Danny Ferry, man. I don't know, man. You ever had run-ins with him?
The Danny Ferry, he was either very nice or very, very mean. Just it depended on the day. I remember going into the Spurs locker room, and I basically lived in the locker room in the late 90s when I was working at KSAT. They would talk about music all the time, and Danny Ferry was big into Dave Matthews Band back then, huge into him. And then I remember asking Dominique Wilkins, I think it was Dominique Wilkins, what he was listening to. And it was Inni Kamosi. Remember Return of the Mac? Return of the Mac. That's interesting. Drew says that Aaron got suspended from an Australian Pro League game for attacking a player back in the day.
I don't doubt that, dude. The guy, before he got injured, and this is a weird thing, he had the weirdest injury ever. He was playing for his for the national team, right, or for the USA team or something. Not Team USA here, but in the Olympics. And he tripped or he slipped in the shower and hurt his neck, dude, and it kind of took him out. So that was a brutal injury, gruesome, but I'm still like, at the end of the day, the guy he had a bad temper, man.
Well, let's take a look at this. It says Brisbane Bullets center Aaron Baines suspended for 5 games by the NBL. Let's see, when was this? This was in 2023. This was recent.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this.
He's got a bad temper, bro.
Oh, wait. Let's see what's going on here. What is going on?
They say he got banned from the entire league. DeJuan Blair. Come up to me at North Star Mall.
Look at Baines' eyes. Look at Baines' eyes.
Wait, let me go ahead and see.
Okay, dude, what's going on with this, dude? Okay, what is he doing? I mean, he's going after 2 players. He got teed up. I dig the official's attire, man. Wearing green. This is pretty cool.
Look, he's ready to kill somebody, dude. Look at that. I'm gonna murder someone, dude. Damn.
And of course, their locker rooms are on the same side of the court, right? Great. Let's just go out the same exit holding hands.
I hope the brother doesn't have his car parked in the parking lot because he'll hit it and run, man.
There has to be more than just this, man, because this looks like...
man, that's just who he is, dude. That's just who he is.
Australian.
Hey, man, before we go ahead and bring the show to a close here and everything, because we're going to start getting near the end of it, I got to play my MMA segment. So yesterday, man, I went ahead and did a quick segment, pre-recorded segment with our good friend Ryan Jarrell. And he is the guy that's over there, the guy that always does all the interviews for All Access MMA. And I was calling it MMA All Access because I get all confused or whatnot.
Right.
But the founder of All Access MMA is one of our good friends here, Jacob De Leon. He's also the guy who's, I guess, at the helm right now of Project Spurs. But Jacob De Leon he's big into UFC, MMA fights and all that. Me, Jacob, my good friend Jonas Clark, we watch a lot of MMA fights here in the studio on the projector. Okay. In fact, we're going to be watching a pay-per-view that's going to be coming up, the next one on February 17th. And we have a big old, gathering here with just us, and we have a lot of fun. But Jacob doing the All Access MMA, they interview fighters. He gets exclusive footage and all that from a lot of the UFC fighters. So this is going to be a segment that I'm going to play. It's just 6 minutes. If you want to watch the full segment, which is 16 minutes, it'll be up there later on in our YouTube channel. But this is what's us previewing what's going to happen this Saturday at UFC 58. Oh, can't even hear the audio. Hold on. Let me see, which one was this MMA segment? Thing that has to do with MMA. So Ryan, you're part of MMA All Access. So tell us a little bit about that as I show the, your YouTube channel here. You and Jacob De Leon.
No, I love working with Jacob. He's phenomenal. All Access MMA. I've been working for the channel now for coming on 6 years, and I've been very fortunate to interview a large number of the fighters, not just in the UFC, but Bellator, PFL, a lot of the regional shows, and it's really been picking up steam, and we're excited that we keep growing and getting new guests on. It's always great to talk to guys that you see on pay-per-views, at some big UFC event. But for me too, it's also equally as cool when you have a young, hungry, up-and-coming prospect that joins the show, because you fast forward a year or two later and then you see them in the big shows. So it's been going great. I love doing it, and Jacob is a phenomenal guy to work for. So I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, one of the best videographers I've ever had the pleasure of meeting, Jacob. Me and Jacob and our good friend Jonas Clark, we all had a little thing going on here when Jacob was here in San Antonio, and we would get together, try to every weekend. We'd watch pay-per-view events as far as MMA goes, and it was a lot of fun just us talking, shooting the shit, so to speak, about the fights that are coming up, and Jacob telling us about the fighters and who he's met and, had the pleasure of doing some work for and whatnot. Well, it was a lot of fun. But we do have some pay-per-views that are going to be coming up. Specifically, we have UFC 58 that'll be happening this weekend. Well, actually, we're recording this on a Friday. It's going to be happening tomorrow on a Saturday. You want to go ahead and let us know a little bit about UFC 58. It's not a pay-per-view, just a regular fight night, but nonetheless, still exciting if you're a fan of MMA.
Yeah, back at the Apex. So it's one of the UFC Vegas cards. I think we're getting close to UFC Vegas. I'm not sure the number, but they just keep hammering them out every other weekend, it seems like. But this one's going to be headlined by Roman Dolidze and Nasruddin Imavov. It's a middleweight bout, and both of these guys are, trying to continue to climb up the ladder. So the middleweight division is going to have their eyeballs on this matchup, and it's really interesting because Imavov, 12-4. This guy is a really dynamic fighter, whether it is on the feet or on the ground. He's got 5 TKO wins on the feet, but he's also got 4 submission victories as well. So he's one of those guys that he can get you regardless of where the feet go, where the fight goes. And Dolidze, I don't want to say he's more like one-dimensional, but for him, his best chance of winning is, I think, to keep this standing and make it a firefight. He's got a lot of power. He can be a little reckless at times because he goes for the finish. He's got 7 TKO victories, and this guy's been in there with some of the best in the division. He most recently lost to Marvin Vettori at UFC 286. So high level competition he's experienced, and he's got another tough one on his hands in Imavov.
Yeah, the thing too with Imavov and Dolidze here is that they're both evenly matched when it comes to height. It's like one is 6'2", the other 6'3". They both weigh 185 pounds. The age difference, one is 35, the other's 28. Reach, 76 inches versus 75 inches. And the stance is interesting to me. Both are orthodox. Mm-hmm. So even matchup in my eyes, I don't know. I think I might give the edge to the savvy veteran in this fight, because veterans always sometimes find a way to win. But, there is something to be spoken about having youth on your side and being young. You can come out swinging, but if you come out swinging, you might punch yourself out in the first 2 rounds,
That is true. Imavov, last time I checked, is the favorite. He's -170, Dolidze +140 or 150. But this is one of those fights, too. Like, if you're a betting guy, and it just seems like betting and combat sports is taken off. Everyone is getting in their parlays. This is one of those fights where it really could go either way. It's so close. I could see either guy winning this fight. So if you were going to bet, I wouldn't put a whole lot of money on it individually. It'd be one of those ones where you could, maybe throw the dog in a parlay and it could hit for you.
Yeah, we're always betting over here on the show, man. Me and my boy Brandon Medina, we some big time bettors. We do a show called Fantasy Gods where we talk about anything and everything that has to do with fantasy football. And we made a little bit of coin last week, right. And some of our bets. We had the Chiefs and we had the 49ers going to the Super Bowl. So I know I made some money. I don't know about Brandon. He's more conservative. I'm more the guy that likes to go out and have the run and gun style. I'm a gambler, man. So I either go big or go home, Okay.
I might have to hit you up before the Super Bowl next weekend because I'm definitely going to throw some money down for sure.
Yeah, you stick with Joe. You go in at home in a Ferrari, man. You go with Brandon, you go home in a little Hyundai or something, man. So that was our segment that we had there with Ryan Jarrell of All Access MMA. Make sure you go and check them out. They're on YouTube right now. So subscribe to their channel so you can go ahead and get your daily fix of anything that has to do with, MMA and what's going on, especially with UFC.
Very, 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 very nice. Hey, before we go, let's show one last video for you guys.
Yeah.
It is February 2nd, which means it is Groundhog Day. Punxsutawney Phil come out of Gobbler's Knob today. They pulled the rodent out. Did not see his shadow, which might be a good thing because legend has it if Punxsutawney Phil, the groundhog, does not see his shadow, that means we're going to be in store for an early spring. So for those of you who are excited to get out of winter, usually here in San Antonio, though, February is the coldest month.
It is, man, and I'm done with the cold. I freaking hate the cold. Dude. I want it to be 70. I want it to be in the low 80s so I can be out in the backyard barbecuing, doing some drinking, listening to some music, having some fun with my friends.
We have 2 weeks of fall that are like that and 2 weeks of spring that are like that. Everything else is either super cold, super rainy, or hot as fuck.
Dude, I can hang out in the backyard if it's hot as fuck. I got a lot of shade back there. I just take a little fan.
Yeah.
I sit down in the shade. I even have like a little canopy I can put up real quick if it's that hot. I'm cool, dude.
Punxsutawney Phil might be onto something. Today, getting up to 71 degrees. Tomorrow, 69 is the high. Low is just 53. Not bad. I mean, you can go jogging at night.
That's like East Coast, you know? You just open up the windows. You don't even need to turn on the AC, man.
I'm looking at the next 10 days, man. Lows in the mid 40s to mid 50s. Highs in the 60s.
So open up the windows, 70s. Bro.
Look at this. Next weekend, though. High is close to 80 next weekend.
No, hell no. You have to have AC for that. You can get swamp ass in the house, bro.
Well, it is Friday. I'm going to get the heck out of Dodge right now. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. I'm on my way to Ding Hao. Gonna go have some lunch with my folks, man.
There you go.
We're gonna go to Ding Hao. Gonna get some Chinese food in me. No rice, just veggies, please.
You can have the steamed rice.
No, man, it bloats me out, dude.
Oh, okay.
It bloats me out, dude. So not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. But again, hope everyone has a fantastic day. It is Friday. Support us. Again, like the show on the way out the door. Go ahead and send us Jonathan C.
Jeez.
Jonathan C. with a great comment to end the weekend. Gobbler Snub. That's my ex-girlfriend's nickname. You know what?
Oh my God.
Have a great weekend. We're gonna end on that. We'll see you guys. Have a good weekend.